Happy Saturday. Ellen Ingalls here at pressure-free.com. My topic today is around the fact that a lot of times people come to me and they've tried a lot of things. And by that I mean try a lot of things to enhance their performance to a different degree, or mitigate their anxiety, their stress, their emotional dysregulation, you could say. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about that this morning. Sometimes people come to me and they haven't really tried much of anything, maybe diet, exercise. But there's so many things that, of course, can help us. And things also that I find can cause people anxiety too. So let's dive into this topic. Um, and it was inspired because of thoughts about how I'll ask someone, okay, what have you tried before to help yourself with this? And let's take anxiety for a moment. So therapy is wonderful. You could be in therapy. Some people are in therapy and also working with me at the same time, because my work is very narrow and very specific. I'm working on present to future, not past very much, so present to future, and with a very specific method to interrupt the release of abundance of stress hormones. So that's what pressure free is. So if someone's also going through therapy to work on some issues or things, especially from the past, it's a really good fit together. And sometimes I'll recommend therapy to someone who who I can help in a certain way, but that's not what I do. So I'm very clear with prospects about what I do and what I don't do and what I'm trained to do. And my work, I come to my work as a performer, as a violinist, as a conductor, as an executive. A lot of people in the corporate field, corporate work, love to work with me because I understand what's going on there. I have an MBA and I actually had access to some really great CEOs throughout my career running an orchestra. So I have a lot I can give there, a lot of insights that I can give there. Um, so, so what do people try? Therapy, medication. I've had people come to me and say, I want to get off my medication. That is not what I do. That's for you and your psychiatrist to do if it's for mental health. If it's for physical health, that's for your physician to work on with you. But here's what I can say. I can't make any promises, but I know that if you use the pressure-free method, symptoms can reduce and in some cases completely disappear. So when we get any sort of a diagnosis, mental or physical, it's a list of symptoms. And sometimes those symptoms vary a lot within a diagnosis as well. That can be the case for some mental health diagnoses. Very different symptoms present in different people. It's the same thing when we trigger the stress response. Some people have symptoms where they get a lot of migraines, headaches, jaw tension, and don't really feel a whole lot down here. Other people, it's throat tightening, chest tightening, pounding heart. Like I feel it very chest centered. Some people, it's the torso. So it's they feel they have gut issues, digestive issues. They have to go to the bathroom a lot. Um, there's a lot going on down there too. So just like with anything, a diagnosis will have symptoms and you might present with certain ones and not others. Same thing with the stress response. So that's why I think I never thought that I had a stress issue. I thought that I just had sensitive skin, hence eczema all over my hands and bouts of stress acne and little red bumps on the back of my arms. And I don't have any of that anymore. So all of the symptoms that I had skin-wise, they disappeared when I started to prevent the release of excessive stress hormones. So I can't make any promises, but what I do know is that this is a science-based method I've created, and we're working with the biology of the stress response, the brain to adrenal gland connection, and that impacts every one of our bodily processes. Some people come to me and say, I'm doing everything right. I exercise perfectly. I eat a perfect diet. I use this diet or that diet. I've done my hormone therapies. I've like all these things, and they're taking all these a lot of supplements. And I'm not saying that anything is bad with that, but you could be doing all of that and still triggering your stress response. I've seen people go to the yoga studio, and this is years ago. I'm at a yoga studio, and this yoga studio was on a busy road. And so everyone's like in this beautiful state of mind, goes out to the cars, and then you're trying to enter onto this super busy road, and you could just see the tension on the steering wheel. Like you could see people's faces change from being beautiful and calm to that. Um, the other thing I think people think is we have our stressful days. This was me. I thought this. My parents certainly under this paradigm too. It's like you have your stressful day, and then when you get home, you get to chill, relax. But maybe you don't because you have kids or elderly parents. Like you have a whole bunch of stuff that you have to do when you get home. So there's like no rest. Another thing that I'm going to bring this forward because I think it's a clue. I love to talk about clues here. If you've watched my show, you know that. Well, a clue that you're affected by the stress response is that you're one way at work and then a different way at home. So, for example, I think back to my symphony office. I had this gorgeous corner office. I was in my little silk suit, my little linen blouse, my little pearls, and everything is neat and clean, and it's completely quiet. And I'm up on like the 12th floor, of this building. Like it's very quiet and beautiful, and I'm just doing my work. And for the most part, it's very peaceful. And then I come home to to boys and usually tons of friends over, and there's stuff everywhere, and it's pretty chaotic. And so I'm like transformed into a different person when I come home, nitpicking, complaining, like, oh my goodness, I didn't even see it until I became pressure free and stopped the release of these hormones. And one thing that I noticed is that I stopped being two different people. Like I got to be, as some of my clients say, you've helped me find the real me. I got to be the real me in everything I was doing. That is a game changer. And some people say like I'm all buttoned up at work and I have to act a certain way. I was just talking to somebody who worked for years for Salesforce, and she said, "Wow, you can't even believe how like buttoned up everybody is. Everyone's afraid they're going to be fired. No one knows what's going on in the company. It's thousands of people and it's chaotic. And so everyone's just trying to stay in their lane and do their job. And so you probably come home exhausted from that. Is that you? Like you do your work and then you just come home and you're so exhausted. Um, and then like you can't even play with your family or have fun with your pets or whatever, whomever or whatever you live with, or friends, go out with friends. Like you're too tired to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you could say. And then you need a vacation because you're so stressed. But then you're so stressed when you get back from the vacation too, because all kinds of crap happens. Right? It's like flights are delayed, trains are delayed, the weather's awful. You go camping and it's raining. We had that happen a lot. Like I can still feel soggy tents and equipment in the van as we're driving to our next destination. It's just a thing. So, um, so getting back to this idea of what have you done? Maybe you've tried meditation and yoga. Those are all wonderful things. What's really cool is when you get to do those things not because you're stressed, but because you want to enhance yourself and enhance your way of being and your peacefulness. Um, if you need to do it, that's then you're in a different state. You're coming into the room tense. Takes a while to unwind, and you'll probably go right back because you're going to experience stimuli that's going to cause fight or flight. So the secret to all of this is to understand the stress response. Sometimes I remember years ago, one of my first clients, when I shared the first session with her, she goes, "This is so eye-opening." So sometimes I call that first session the eye opener. It was eye-opening to me to dig into the research and figure out what really is this stress response and what is it doing to me. I'd done some of that work back in the 1980s, pre-internet at Michigan's Medical Library. And then in 2010, when I really deeply got into it, I found some very cool research that really helped me solidify how to share about the stress response in a way that's so understandable, and it explains why we feel the symptoms we feel. Everything from dry eye, dry mouth. If you have a dry mouth, like if you're a student, you're called on in class, or you're giving a speech, or you're running a meeting, and you feel your mouth go dry, that's the stress response. If you feel your heartbeat rising, that's the stress response. If your hands get cold and clammy and sweaty, that's the stress response. I didn't really put that all together in a cohesive way until 2010. And so figuring out, okay, what are these symptoms that you have experienced? Maybe it's been so chronic, and maybe like me, you said, I'm never getting out of this. I've had eczema 35 years. Nothing has fixed it. What could possibly fix it? So sometimes people come to me also very skeptical, like, I don't think you can help me. And one of the women that said that to me in the very first session is on my website. And it not only helped her, but she was able to share pressure free with her daughter. And that is so incredible when you get to create a ripple effect. I just saw a name pop up on my screen. It's his birthday today, and he is a basketball coach, a college basketball coach. He's coached so many teams, and I know he's dribbling in some pressure free because it was so profound for him when I coached him as a college student. So so yeah, so whatever you've done in the past, if it hasn't worked, I want you to still have hope. And I'd love to have a conversation with you, because sometimes the one thing you need is an understanding of the stress response and how to stop it. And that is the thing that can help you with your symptoms. And yes, it takes some discipline to learn this, but everything I teach, it's not rocket science. I said that to a client the other day. I go, this isn't rocket science. She's like, I go, do you have any thoughts or questions about those tools I just shared? She's like, no, it's simple. It's got to be simple for us to use. I remember once I was giving a workshop to a cancer support group, and a psychologist friend of mine had brought me in to work with this group. She wasn't available to be with her group that night, so there was a different psychologist in the room. And when I got done, I wanted to hear from them, like what they thought about what I was sharing. And she said, I just think it's so simple. It's too simple. And I just looked at her and I said, the people were still in the room, having snacks. And I go, take a look at the faces in this room. They can't deal with something complicated. They need something simple. The fact that they or their spouse or their partner is seriously going through a life and death experience, they need something simple. So that one event, that workshop, made me press even more to create my method to be super simple for people. So I hope this is helpful to you. I hope you have a really beautiful Saturday. And if you've tried a lot of things and nothing has really worked, you still feel a lot of symptoms of whatever it is you're experiencing, then I'd love to have a conversation. You can go to my site, lingalls.com, and just press that book a call button, and we can get together. Have a great day. Bye.